Hi everyone, it's me Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do some Tunisian crochet. This is a Tunisian crochet stitch tutorial, and I'm going to be using two different colors. This is the basic idea of what we're doing, and you fill in the blanks as you go. So we're going to start with our very first section across here with the same color, a blue. The only difference is it's a little darker than this here. All right. Now, most importantly, I want you to understand that this particular Tunisian stitch pattern can be done with a regular crochet hook. I will be using a 5.5 crochet hook. This is compliments of I Love to Crochet Tank. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is chain a number of 38 stitches. And that 38 stitches is going to give you your two end pieces and your two center pieces. Now, if you want to make a bigger project, by all means, you are more than welcome to. Basically, what you're going to do is each of your triangles is 12 stitches, and your ends here are 7. So that's how I come up with 38, was 24 for the two peaks that I made and 14 for the ends, and then just added them together. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a slip knot on my hook and chain 38. Again, you can totally use a regular crochet hook for this project, especially if you are just wanting to try it out and see if you can get the hang of it. All right, I'm going to finish chaining 38 and then I will be back. Okay, so now that we have our 38 chains, we're going to go and pick up 7. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to be working into the front of the chain. Generally speaking, I would be working into the spine, the back. Okay, so in order to pick up 7 stitches, we already have our first one on our hook. In Tunisian crochet, the loop on your hook counts as your first stitch. So we're going to go into the next 6 chains and pull up a loop through each one. Remember not to make these too tight or your project will curl up really bad. And you have to work through them as well. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one, 7. Generally speaking, we would yarn over and go through 1. We're not going to for this project. We're going to yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Once you have 1 loop left on your hook, we're going to start our decrease rows. You go into your very next vertical bar, very next stitch, because the loop on your hook is your very first stitch, and pick up your second stitch, go to the next one, third, the next one, fourth, the next one, fifth, and now is our decrease. We're going to decrease by pulling these last 2 together. Your vertical and your diagonal stitch at the end is a 2 together, just like that. Yarn over and pull through those. You should have 6 stitches left on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Continue till you have 1 loop left on your hook. And we're going to repeat that again. Go to your next vertical stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and continue till you are down to the last 2 stitches, which is your last vertical and that diagonal, and stitch them together. You will have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, 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 and now we're going to do it again. Into your next stitch, pick up a loop, next stitch, pick up a loop, and then the last 2 together. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Here we go again. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pick up a loop, and the last 2 stitches together. Yarn over and pick up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Now we're going to reach down and go through those last 2 together. Yarn over, pick up a loop, and yarn over, go through 2. Now if you look at your project, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rows up. Now we need to work our way down this side back to the chain. So turn your work on its side, and we're going to be picking up the back side of those stitches that we skipped when we decreased. Generally, you pick up the 2 legs on the end to finish the row, and for this particular project, we didn't. So now we're going to reach over and pick up the back side of that stitch that we skipped. There we are, the back side of it, and we're going to single crochet down the side, going through those stitches on the back, the little loops on the back. You're going to have a total of 7 by the time we get to the bottom. Double check where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're right on target. 1 more down here for 6, and then 1 in the chain for 7. Go to your very next chain and single crochet into it. That puts us back at the beginning to start our next series of stitches. You have finished the very first one. Now we need to go through and pick up a total of 11 stitches. If we have one loop on our hook, that will be the 12th stitch. So total being 12, but we need to pick up 11 more to make that 12. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is our 12th total. So we have 12 stitches on our hook, and mind you, they are a little tight as far as there's a lot on here for a regular crochet hook, but as you can see, it can be done. Yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay, now we're going to start our decreasing rows. We'll be decreasing on both sides. So this right here is your first stitch. We're going to go to the very next 2 vertical bars and pick them up and Tunisian 2 together. So we're decreasing on both ends. Now work your Tunisian simple stitch to the last 2 stitches. You will have a total of 10 stitches on your hook when you come to the end of this row. So we're at 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and here's our last 2 stitches. We're going to pick them up and Tunisian 2 together those stitches. Now you're going to yarn over, go through 2, and continue that. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, until you are down to 1 loop left on your hook. That loop will be considered the first stitch of your next row. We're going to decrease again. This time we will have 8 stitches on our hook when we get to the end of the row. Remember, this is your first stitch, so you Tunisian 2 together the next 2 vertical bars. Then Tunisian simple stitch all the way to the very last 2 stitches. Two, 4, 6, 7. We're at the last 2 stitches. Pick those up by Tunisian 2 together stitch. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue until you have 1 stitch left on your hook. All right, we're going to continue repeating this process. 2 together. Going to move a little bit faster now that you should have the idea. 2, 4, 5, and 6 stitches on this row. Two together. 4 stitches on the next row. Now when you get down to this point, we're going to Tunisian simple stitch our next stitch, and Tunisian simple stitch these 2 together, and that'll give you 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Now to double check yourself, you're going to go down the center of your triangle here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you have 6, you are correct. And what I mean by 6 is these loops right here for each row. So here we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to simply turn your work on its side and work in those back loops of this last stitch of those rows and single crochet down the side. Again, you will have the same number as you did on the previous one when you reached the chain. You will have 6 down the side of the triangle and your 7th one into the chain. And you can just double check by counting those V's down the side here. So I'm on the 3rd one. This is the fiddly part of it. 4, 5. This last one down here will be 6. And then 1 into the very next chain will be 7. Okay. And then you just repeat what we just did one more time. This larger triangle, you're going to pick up a total of 11 more loops for a total of 12 on your hook. And then repeat that triangle And I will come back and we will work the last half of a triangle together. Okay, for the last half of a triangle, we need to pick up the last 6 stitches from our last 6 chains, and for a total of 7, including the stitch on our hook. So same as the beginning, you're going to pick up 6 stitches, giving yourself a total of 7 stitches on your hook. 3, 6, and 7. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue till you have 1 loop on your hook. And now we're going to do this exactly the same way as we did the beginning. You're going to pick up your next stitch all the way to the last 2 stitches. You will Tunisian 2 together the last 2 stitches. You should have 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, continue till you have 1 loop left on your hook. Again, go into your next stitch, continue until you have 2 stitches left. Go through those 2 stitches and Tunisian 2 together. You will have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and yarn over, go through 2. Here we go again. Tunisian simple stitch across till you get to the last 2 stitches, and Tunisian 2 together the last 2. You have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to continue this decrease process. So now we're down to, we have 2 vertical bars and our diagonal. So we're going to pick up the center one and Tunisian simple stitch, and then Tunisian 2 together those last 2 stitches. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. We're going to reach down and do 1 more by picking up the vertical stitch and the diagonal stitch, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through 2. You will have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 up. 6 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to turn it on its side and work your stitches down the side, and you will have a total of 7 when you get to the bottom. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down here into this chain, the back loop of this chain makes 7. And at this point, you would chain 1 and leave a little bit of a tail because we're going to switch colors. So I'm just going to pull up a loop because I am not going to cut away from this project at this point. So here we are, we have our 2 triangles and the 2 half triangles. And there is going to be a little bit of curling. If you've done it loose enough, it won't curl much. It will curl just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to get my secondary color, which is this mauve color, and we will begin the next row of triangles. Okay, with the secondary color in hand, I'm going to go to the top of my first half triangle, and I'm going to go into the back loop only and bring my new color in, and now I have my first stitch. I'm going to work down this side and up this side of the next triangle. So I'm going to go through and pick up a loop, go through, pick up a loop, go through, pick up a loop, go through, pick up a loop. I'm at 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so I have the first half. I have that first 7 stitches. Now I do 3, 6, 7. I have my first 7 stitches. Now I'm going to pick up that single crochet for 8, and now I need 7 more stitches. So when you get to the top of your triangle on your next step here, you will have a total of 13 loops on your hook. Again, it is possible to do it on a regular crochet hook. It is snug, there's a lot there, but it is possible. Now you're going to yarn over and go through 2 and continue that until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay. Now we're going to do our decreasing like we did for the triangles in blue. We're going to be decreasing on both sides. So this is our first stitch. We're going to catch our next 2 vertical bars and Tunisian 2 together crochet. Then Tunisian simple stitch to the last 2 stitches. When you get to the last 2 stitches, you're going to Tunisian 2 together stitch. And again, we're going to work yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and continue till you have 1 loop left on your hook. Like such. And we're going to repeat. There is your first stitch here on the side. You might have to separate it a little bit. And we're going to 2 together the next 2 vertical stitches. Like that. And then Tunisian simple stitch until we get to the last 2 stitches. When you get to the last 2 stitches, you will Tunisian 2 together those last 2 stitches. Now, yarn over and go through 2 and repeat till you have 1 loop left on your hook. All right, we're going to do that again. We're going to go all the way to the very point of a triangle here. So skipping that first vertical bar and Tunisian 2 together the next 2, Tunisian simple stitch to the last 2. When you've reached the last 2, Tunisian 2 together the last 2 stitches. Yarn over, go through 2 and repeat till you have 1 loop left on your hook. So we're decreasing by 2 stitches every row. 2 together the first 2 vertical bars, Tunisian simple stitch, to the last 2 stitches, and then 2 together. Yarn over, go through 2, repeat till you have 1 loop left on your hook. Here we go again. Tunisian 2 together, Tunisian 2 together. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rows. Now we're going to work down the side of this just as we've done before. You turn your work on its side and pick up those back loops and single crochet through them. When you get down to the side, you should have a total of 6 on the side, and I will show you what to do next. So just continue single crochet down the side. Okay, so working down the side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do the very top stitch of this triangle from the row below. And there we are. Now we're going to work back through the same process all the way to this end, picking up a total number of 13 loops on your hook. So the first one is 1, which is already on your hook, and then you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So again, I have 13 loops on my hook, and I'm just going to repeat that same process we just did and one more time, and I will meet back up with you when I have finished this one and the next one, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the blue. Again, I'm not cutting off because I will be ripping this back out more than likely and making a bigger project. I'm just wanting to show you how to do this. And as you're working them, I'm calling them triangles because the direction you work them, that's the way they appear. But when you're done, they're actually shells, like such. They're actually shells. So this is the actual proper way for it to lay. If you were making an Afghan or something like that, that's how it would look. So let's go ahead and get to the second repeat row. So this first section is your setup section. This is the first of a 2-row repeat, this mauve color here. Now we're going to do the second row of your 2-row repeat. And you can do this in multiple colors. You can use as a scrap GAN. You can do it however you wish. So we're going to go into this stitch down here, the top of the point right here from our setup row, and pick up our yarn. And we're going to work up the side of the mauve row by picking up those back loops only. You will have 7 loops on your hook, just as we did previously for our very startup row. we're going to be working this same idea here on the end. So we're going to yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, continue till you have 1 loop left on your hook. Now we're going to start our decreasing rows. Remember, when you're only working half of a shell or a triangle, you're only decreasing on one side. When you're working a full triangle, you decrease on both sides. So we're going to Tunisian simple stitch all the way to the last 2 stitches. And then Tunisian 2 together the last 2 stitches. This will leave you with a total of 6 loops on your hook. Once again, you're going to work, yarn over 2 together, yarn over 2 together until you have 1 loop left on your hook. And then we're going to repeat this. Tunisian simple stitch to the last 2 stitches. And Tunisian 2 together those last 2 stitches. Then yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through the last 2. And once again, let's work forward pass. Tunisian 2 together those last 2 stitches. Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian 2 together stitch, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This top one is your 6th one, and then you're going to turn it on its side, and we're going to work down the side as we have done previously, working into that back stitch and single crochet down the side. Tighten that up a little bit. There we go. Continue working down the side for a total of 7 single crochets. The 7th one will be into the top of the row below triangle there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, and now into the top of that triangle for 7. And then you're just simply going to work the larger shells the same as we did on the row below. So we're going to be working through the valley of this one, picking up 13 stitches and decreasing down to 1, and work down the side all the way to this point. Then we're going to pick up the 13 stitches on our loop here and decrease down to the point, and then we'll do the half of a triangle or fan, if you will, up here to finish the row. I'm going to meet back up with you down here on this half of a fan. I'm going to go ahead and work through these valleys of shells because they're exactly the same as the row before. All right, let's go ahead and finish up this last half of a triangle. It is going to be done exactly the same way as the original. So here we go. We have 1 loop on our hook. We need to pick up 6 more for a total of 7. Your 6th one should end up being down at the top of this previous one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here we are at the top, 7. Double check, 3, 6, 7. And again, we're going to work it exactly as we worked before. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue repeating that until you have 1 loop on your hook. And now we're going to start our decreasing rows. This is half of a triangle, so we're only decreasing on the left-hand side, the one side. So you should have 6 loops on your hook once you have reached the end of the first row. So there's 3, 5, and then the last is Tunisian 2 together. And continue doing your back pass exactly the same. And Tunisian simple stitch across to the last 2 stitches. Tunisian 2 together, the last 2 stitches. Yarn over, go through 2, and repeat that for your back pass. Once again, front pass, Tunisian simple stitch to the last 2 stitches, and then Tunisian 2 together, the last 2 stitches. Do your back pass. Okay, now we're gonna move forward and do our forward pass. Now if you count up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 being that top stitch there, you should have a total of 6. Now we're going to work our way down the side just as we have done in the previous triangles, and single crochet down the side for a total of 7 single crochets down the side. Remember, it's a little fiddly. Can always double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6, and the final stitch goes all the way down. I'm going to move this mauve out of the way. Goes all the way down here to the top of the blue, to the top of the very first triangle stitch. Okay, so here it is in two-tone. You could do this as many colors as you would like. If you wanted to do a scrap GAN with it, that would be awesome as well, because then you could just keep changing colors every single row. But all you have to do is do your setup row and then repeat the following 2 rows, and that's it. And if I turn this over so that way you can see it the proper direction, that's what it looks like. So some two-tone shells. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I know it was a little extra long this time, but there was a lot to do. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.